If I had to start all over again at 30% body fat with my old man boobs, the love handles, and the belly fat, and I wanted to get back down to a lean and defined 15% body fat with some barely visible abs, here's what I would do. My name is Mateo, and I've lost over 50 pounds now twice in my life, and I've spent the last 8 years helping guys like Bryson lose fat and get in shape using a simplified approach without having to live like a fitness model. Now, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your Yahoo and tell you this is gonna be easy. You're gonna need to put in effort and energy in order to lose this weight. But if you follow the 5 steps that I'll outline in this video, I can guarantee you're gonna get lean, just like I did and hundreds of the people I've worked with too. The very first thing I do doesn't require any healthy eating or working out at all, but the 3 minutes it takes will probably double your chances of being successful at losing weight. There's this Dan Coe quote that I love. Your future results will be determined by 2 things. One big decision to go all in, and the repetitive actions you take on a daily basis. So I'd sit down and write a 1-line answer to the following questions. Where do I want to be if I could have anything I wanted? Why? And get personal here. Do you want to feel confident in a swimsuit? Just write it down, whatever it is. And then what can I do today to move me forward? An easy answer to that last one is to read my free 21-day fat loss program that's linked in the description box. Now, I know I'm gonna need to start working out, but what type of workout is best to reduce your body fat percentage? I wouldn't even wait a day to get started in the weight room. I'd start building muscle as soon as possible, because the sooner you start building muscle, the sooner you start looking more defined. Building muscle while you're losing fat along the way can help you avoid that skinny fat look once you've lost the weight entirely. I know, because that's what happened to me. The first time I lost 50 pounds, just basically doing cardio, eating keto, I looked like a whittled down mop at the end of it. Building muscle while you're losing fat is called body recomposition, if you've never heard of it. And you'll see visual progress way more quickly when you start working on both sides of the equation. I'd start with 3 full body workouts per week, focusing on basic movements like squatting, pressing, and pulling exercises, and bicep and tricep exercises. These are all the types of exercises I post myself doing on my Instagram stories throughout the week if you see those, because these time-tested basics are what work. And you can apply these 4 basic muscle building principles to make even faster progress. Number 1, choose exercises that target the specific muscles you want to grow without beating up your joints. Number 2, take each set relatively close to the point where you can't do any more high quality reps. Number 3, gradually add reps and weight over time, even if it's just a rep here and there. And number 4, do 2 or 3 sets per exercise per body part, 3 days per week, keeping most of your work in that 5 to 20 rep range to start. It's so easy to get overwhelmed by all the information out there, but if you show up consistently and get stronger over time on a few basic exercises, while pushing hard in the gym, you're gonna make amazing progress. If you're short on time, do supersets. Pair up upper body and lower body exercises, or pushing and pulling exercises, and alternate between them to save time while getting the same results. Again, my free 21-day fat loss plan has a time-efficient workout plan you can follow. But no amount of weight training is gonna get you from 30% body fat to 15% body fat. And this is where my 4-point fat loss framework comes into play. Losing a substantial amount of body fat requires you to get your nutrition in order. And if you want to maintain that fat loss afterwards, it can't just be some crash diet where you cut out all your carbs. So how should you be eating to lose body fat? Contrary to popular belief, it's not just about eating healthy. To help you understand, let's look at the 80-20 principle. 80% of the results you get come from just 20% of the things you do. If you apply that again to itself, you get the 50-1 principle, meaning that 50% of the results you get come from just 1% of the things you focus on. And when it comes to losing body fat, that one thing is being in a calorie deficit. When you eat fewer calories than you burn each day, your body taps into your fat cells for energy, and you get lighter and leaner as a result. Let me know in the comment section if you already knew this. So instead of worrying about fasting and supplements or what time of day you eat or your macros, I'd focus on how much food I was actually eating. That's the missing puzzle piece for most people. And if you ignore it, you will stay stuck forever. If it were me, I'd track my daily calorie intake using a calorie tracking app. And as for food choices, I wouldn't restrict entire food groups, not just because I love food and I was raised in an Italian household, so giving up carbs would probably be a crime. I'd eat treats in moderation like pizza, ice cream, or beer, knowing that I'll still lose body fat as long as I stay within my calorie goals. Of course, most of my diet would be fruits, veggies, lean meats, low-fat dairy, and whole grains, filling, nutrient-dense, enjoyable, and flexible enough that I can actually stick to it. For bonus points, I'd make sure I was eating enough protein to support muscle growth. As a simple rule of thumb, you can take your goal weight in pounds, multiply it by 0.8, and eat that many grams of protein per day. So if your goal is 200 pounds, that's 160 grams of protein daily. I'd know my calories were on track if I was losing about 1% of my body weight per week, and I was feeling good from a hunger, mood, and energy standpoint. But losing fat isn't only about food and workouts. The next thing I'd do is just get more active overall. I'd look for activities that I enjoy that keep me moving. I join an activity once a week, something fun like pickleball, jujitsu, basketball, or a hiking group. Adds accountability and helps you meet other sexy, active people, makes the process more fun. As insurance, I'd set some kind of a daily step goal, which is a proven way to live longer and boost your metabolism for faster fat loss. And I'd take a brisk 10-minute walk after meals or longer walks in the mornings or the evenings while listening to music or podcasts or calling a friend. This is also a huge help for sleep, daily energy levels, digestion, and mental health, which are all things I've struggled with in the past. Then I document my progress, starting off with a batch of photos and waist measurements so you can see what's working and be able to make adjustments to it if not. Having that data keeps you motivated and focused on the bigger picture and how much progress you've made. Step on the scale first thing every morning before having any food, no water, and no clothing after using the bathroom. Don't worry if the weight spikes up one day because it will. Focus on the big picture of how your weight is moving over time. Let's take a look at my client Alan's weight loss chart, who's down over 50 pounds in his first 6 months of us working together. If he got upset every time the scale bumped up, he'd have pulled all his hair out and looked like me by now. Be compassionate with yourself when things get tough, and be honest and firm when you know you need to be doing better. Take responsibility for your progress. Bring yourself back on track when you encounter roadblocks, and celebrate your wins along the way, for fuck's sakes. You deserved it. This next 6 months is gonna pass either way, and where you end up at the end of it is up to you. There are thousands of ways to succeed at this, but only one way to fail. Do not give up. Oh, and before I forget, there are 3 other things that might cause you to fail at weight loss along the way, and they're so common that most people don't even realize they're keeping them stuck. So make sure you watch this video next, where I'll show you how to avoid the 3 biggest weight loss mistakes I see guys making all the time, and what you can do instead to lose fat quickly and reliably week after week.